This edition of ESPN FC, I'm Dan Thomas, joined by Frank LeBoeuf and Craig Burley. A little later on the show, we'll reflect on a big win for Liverpool away against Cardiff. But really, we've got to start at Goodison Park. Everton taking on Manchester United. Manchester United, of course, needing a result to keep them in the hunt for a top four place. This was a disaster from start to finish. Starting off, 13 minutes in, Richarlison, nice acrobatic goal to make it 1-0, Frank.
Yes, Richarlison, fantastic volley on the big throw-in from the French guy, Dean.
Good weapon, that, isn't it, to have the old long throw. Nothing wrong with that in the modern game. Lucas Digne, throw it in the box.
Yeah, that's a tool.
15 minutes later, it's 2-0. Everton catching United on the counter-attack. Nice finish from Sigurdsson.
Well, they end up getting enough bodies back here, but then the Manson Matic doesn't get close enough, shows him inside. Nobody comes out to double up, to help, to try and block, and I don't think you can blame the goalkeeper. I think it's just a fantastic strike.
You expected maybe United to rally a little bit in the second half. They did nothing. 3-0, 10 minutes after the break. Digne with a nice finish.
Yeah, he's having a fantastic season, you know, with the toughies, he's freeing himself, in fact.
And then Theo Walcott would come off the bench to get Everton's fourth.
Yeah, good finish from a player who hasn't always thrived in that position in the final third. But listen, why bother to track any runners?
This was too easy. Absolute morning for Manchester United.
It's just too easy. I mean, there's nobody tracking any runners.
Ole Gunnar Solskjaer supporting the crowd afterwards, thanking them for making it to the game. Their team, of course, didn't show up. We'll talk about the ramifications with United and top four in a minute, but let's just focus, shall we, on this game in particular, which was, I think, one of the worst United performances I've seen for a very long time.
And they've had a few recently.
Yeah.
Look, the scoreline's a shock, but the result's not a shock in terms of them losing. OK, you can lose to Barcelona. That's, you know, not a criticism of losing to Barcelona, because they're not at that level at the moment. However, I've mentioned it on the show, previous games, Watford at home, outplayed and won. West Ham at home, outplayed by West Ham and won. So no real shock that they lose the game, but a shock in terms of the way they played, which was absolutely abysmal. I mean, it really was. And barring, I know we'll talk about it in a bit, but barring a unbelievable turnaround in fortunes and attitude, how the hell are they going to cope with Man City? I mean, that's a big concern.
Where was the fight, Frank? There was just no response, was there, at all throughout this whole game, as they just got completely battered?
No, that was really appalling. First, you have to congratulate Everton.
Sure,
I think they had a fantastic game, and I think they did the job, and this is why Manchester suffered. They maybe didn't expect that quality from the toughest players. But really, when I was watching the game, I said, they all do the thing in the wrong way, where it's like he's never the guy who has the ball who decides, for example, where the ball is going to go. It's the offers from the other players who forces the guy with the ball to give the ball. And they go the other way around, where I saw so many times players with the ball almost saying to the guy, go there and I give you the ball. And it, of course, never goes anywhere. It's like they never play together. It's like they only play individually and didn't really care about what was the other thoughts. And so it can't work in that way. It cannot work.
There's no pattern of play. There's no real pattern to what they're trying to do. You know, every team they've played against that's a poorer squad than them generally has had a pattern of what they've wanted. Now, people will say, well, what about all the great results when Ole came in? Well, that's fine, because everybody got a real lift when Mourinho left. And a real lift when this nice, likeable guy who's been at the club and he's done it, and he's friendly and he's approachable, and you can engage with him, and you start to get results. And then the air starts to come out the balloon. I've talked about this. The one thing I can't get my head around here is, in all these recent poor performances, and that's 5 straight, I think, is it 5 straight away?
Yes.
Which has gone back many a year since that happened, was, if all the great results early on under Solskjaer were amazing management for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, why is everyone absolving him of blame for this current bunch of performances? It seems that there's selective punditry going on here.
Right.
Across the board. Solskjaer was great. Now the players are hopeless. It goes back to my point, and I don't know, and I still don't buy into this, they had to give him the job. No, they bloody well didn't have to give him the job, right? What's his body of work, and on what basis, apart from a few results on a whim, did they have to give him the job? Now you've got Ed Woodward saddled with a guy who might not make the top four after being third, has to rebuild the whole football club. But from what basis? From what basis can you say, right, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer will sort this out?
Yeah.
What basis?
Where did you stand on the Solskjaer appointment, Frank?
Well, it's as Craig said, you know, you have the first step when he's welcomed, and you have changes. We saw Pogba, for example, you know, under Mourinho, you know, having his head down. You know, Solskjaer came up, and we find a new or again a newer Pogba. Yeah. But it's just the rebounds. Then after, there is the truth, the quality of the club, the quality is there, the history is there, but the quality of that new generation, you know, where you can go and how far you can go with that team. You cannot go far. Yeah. You know, I mean, they went through against Paris Saint-Germain because Paris Saint-Germain made so many silly mistakes. They allowed Manchester United to go in the quarterfinal. I mean, you have to be blind to think otherwise. And you had the truth after against Barcelona. But in the Premier League, they showed a little bit of better way to play.
Yeah.
But if you compare the 6 big teams in the Premier League, they are the team with the less qualities.
Yeah.
And it's been showed this afternoon clearly because of the quality, but also the character of the players and the way they want to save or do something for Manchester United, the club.
You mentioned Pogba, obviously. He was under a lot of scrutiny, under Mourinho. And as you mentioned, Mourinho goes, comes in, he plays well, everything's fine. However, in this run that Craig mentioned, he, again today, and I know it's not just all about him, but he is the most expensive player that United have ever bought. Yet again, he's anonymous. Yet again, he's completely and utterly out of it.
Well, you know, we were waiting for the Pogba's performance against Paris Saint-Germain and then after Barcelona, because we always say, you know, the big players, they're big in big games. And he was nowhere near it. We didn't see him the first leg in Old Trafford. He was suspended against Paris the second game and the second leg. Then played the 2 games Barcelona. We never saw him. He has to, of course, he has to wake up, and he has to understand that...
he doesn't want to be there, though, does he?
I think, he's already thinking about leaving and maybe going to Real Madrid with the performance that we saw. He's not the only one. We talk about him because he's the most expensive player. Yeah. But, of course, he's nowhere near it. He has to wake up like any other player.
I've always said Manchester United need to make in recent weeks, they have to make a statement and keep their best players. However, I think it's obvious now with Pogba and maybe 1 or 2 others who are not as talented as him, that they need to try and get as big a bucks as they can and go in a different direction. Because it's just not working. Yeah. Right? Now, let me go back to the management thing quickly. Do you think Manchester City and Liverpool were in the mindset in the modern day to give somebody the job for a few weeks and if they got some results, give them it full time? Yeah. Or did they think about a longer project, a longer term project to go and try and sign players and take them to the next level? Think about a former teammate of ours. And no slight on the man, Roberto Di Matteo comes in, interim manager at Chelsea, wins the Champions League. Yeah. Everybody's happy and he's doing a great job, gets the job for the next year, gone.
3 months.
Gone. Yeah. These things don't generally work. Yeah. And he had a really good squad of players. We're talking about, and this is no slight on Solskjaer, because what Solskjaer did, if he hadn't got the United job, he propelled himself into getting another job. Yeah. So he put himself back out there. However, I stand by what I said when he was appointed. This is absolutely crazy to have a guy with such little experience managing and trying to restructure and rebuild one of the biggest clubs in world football.
We've got to move on because there was one good bit of news for United today. Arsenal were rubbish as well. They were taking on Crystal Palace. And incredibly, a game that when you looked at Arsenal's run, you thought, right, this is 3 points. This is
was that what Roy Hodgson was saying there? Give us 3 points.
That's it. Christian Benteke, first goal in a year to make it 1-0.
Yeah, fantastic. Happy for him, you know. And it was spot on, free, surprisingly free in the 16-yard box.
Now, maybe with 7 minutes to go in the first half. Palace a little lucky not to concede a penalty.
think so, bearing in mind what we've seen in recent weeks. Yeah.
Yeah,
he's turned away in his arms. I really don't know how that's not given.
However, then, into the second half we go. There would be a response from Arsenal. Lacazette plays it into Mesut Ozil, would make it 1-1.
Yeah, fantastic assist from Lacazette. And finally, I can say something good about Mesut Ozil. He knows how to have some finesse.
So then at this point you thought, right, Arsenal going to rally in the second half. But Mustafi just has, I don't know what happened to him. Wilfried Zaha's there to make it 2-1.
Well, Frank, you can talk through this as a defender.
Yeah, well, you know, he wasn't nowhere.
He's tried to block him.
Yeah, I don't know. He thinks that the goalkeeper will go out, you know, and try to protect his out. I don't know. It's strange, very strange.
And then with 20 minutes to go, MacArthur makes it 3-1 to Palace.
Yeah, just all poor defending. This time from the set piece. I didn't win the first ball, and then he was there to put the flick on in.
Aubameyang would make it 3-2 to make the last 13 minutes of this one interesting. The best chance for the equaliser would come in the 89th minute.
It's not even a good 1-2 because he's with one of the defender.
And Iwobi just passes it pretty much straight back to the goalkeeper.
Should have went to the other side.
Huge result there as it finishes Arsenal 2, Crystal Palace 3. The happy teams today, certainly Spurs and Chelsea. With those results, Chelsea, of course, in action tomorrow. They take on Burnley. The bookies really can't separate Arsenal or Chelsea. Just a reminder of the run-ins. For Spurs, 3 of the 4 matches are at home. You just look at that United against Chelsea game and how massive that's going to be at Old Trafford. Of course, preceding that, though, for United, they have got Manchester City. I feel like I'm asking this every day.
Yeah, I'm going to give Man United 6 points. That's the last 2 games. At the most, I'm giving them 7.
Right.
It's a draw with Chelsea
Okay.
at home. I don't think that's going to be enough because I think certainly Tottenham, I don't think Tottenham will slip up. But I think Chelsea now, if they do get that point or better at at Old Trafford, are in the box seat.
Yeah.
And I just don't think, barring some amazing turnaround of fortunes and form and attitude from Man United, that they're going to beat Man City at home, be it at home or not, and C, beat Chelsea.
And you wouldn't trust Arsenal from what you saw today, what we've seen over the last few weeks.
Well, no, you go to Napoli, you play Napoli over 2 games and you beat them and you play well and then you lose at home.
Who have you got, Frank?
I always say Tottenham and Chelsea. You know, Tottenham for sure. Chelsea's going to battle against Arsenal. Definitely Man United is already a miracle with the season that they had so far, that they're at the 6th place, you know.
Yeah. Meanwhile, of course, for Liverpool today, away against Cardiff, needing a win to put themselves back at the top of the table after City's win against Spurs yesterday.
It was a bit of a slow burner, this, wasn't it?
It wasn't the greatest of matches. A real chance here for Firmino, who really should have done better.
Yeah, with the class and the technique of his player, I think he takes it with maybe a little bit of his fibula, but yeah, he has to do better.
It'd be some goal though that would break the deadlock in the second half. Ronaldo.
I'm presuming it was walked off the training ground. It was either that or Cardiff just went to sleep.
Yeah, he's the only guy completely free.
Yeah.
Amazing.
But something that won't. But anyway, good technique.
Yeah.
Great technique to keep it down, which is the most important thing.
Not quite as good technique from Sean Morrison, who has a free header and he managed to hit it on his back.
I think he doesn't see the ball. The ball is hidden by the people in front of him. And
I've not seen that before.
Yeah, you can do that when you bowled, you know, because it's getting slippery.
Right. 10 minutes to go. Some controversy over this. Some people saying this isn't a penalty.
Oh, come on.
I thought it was. I thought it was quite clear. The hands are on him for Frank for a good few seconds.
Yeah, for like 10 seconds. Morrison has the ends. If you want to be clever, if you have more experience, you put the ends and you take them off and you put him back. But he keeps on doing it.
James Milner makes no mistake then.
The old guy.
Yeah, it's now traditional celebration, the old man, and you two can relate to that. Cardiff 0, Liverpool 2. Liverpool back at the top of the table with 3 matches remaining. Manchester City's game in hand is, of course, midweek at Old Trafford against United. Then you would assume that those remaining matches will see both Liverpool and Manchester City win out. But who knows how this will end. A nice feeling for PSG as they went into their match with Monaco, knowing that they were already champions after that result earlier in the day between Lille and Nantes. Neymar on the bench. He'd come on at half-time, actually. 15 minutes in, though. Kylian Mbappe would make it 1-0, Frank.
Yeah, that guy was absolutely fantastic. And his run, his pace, his coolness after he controls the ball made him score fantastic goals, and that one is one of them.
And then 7 minutes before the break, Kylian Mbappe would get his and PSG's second.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, great strength. Nice little pass, good pace, picks his head up and then just picks his spot.
And then we would see Neymar introduced at half-time. 10 minutes after the break, Mbappe would get his hat-trick.
Yeah, another assist from Dani Alves, who had a very good game as well. And yeah, hat-trick, 30 goals. Like Jean-Pierre Papin, might be, he might beat him, you know, before the end of the season.
So PSG are champions once again. France. This is, of course, a feeling we're getting very much used to, considering their run over recent years. 8 League One titles. They've won 6 of the last 7. That's kind of the key stat from that. But with PSG, there always seems to be a caveat when we talk about their domestic success, because you automatically think the way in which they performed in the second leg against Manchester United, and that surely dilutes pretty much their whole season.
Yeah, and you could see that the stadium wasn't fully packed, and because the fans are disappointed by the fact that they couldn't go through against Manchester United, that they didn't respect, in fact, the club, the way they played, but also because the last 3 games they drew at home against Strasbourg, they lost at Lille 4-1, they lost at Nantes 3-2. And it's because Lille drew against Toulouse this afternoon that they are the champion. There is something wrong with those players. I think at some point, the club will have to think about getting rid of some players who made the beginning of the history. We started the new era for Chelsea,
right?
But they needed other players to win the league again, the EPL, and also after the Champions League. That's part of club life, and I think some players have to leave the club in order for some others to come and maybe give another level to Paris Saint-Germain to be able to win the Champions League. But fans are disappointed. They don't care about the League One. Yeah, it's important because you need to win the League One to be in the Champions League. So it's important for the club. But for the fans, we don't pay 180 million euros or 200 million euros to see players winning the League One. It's what the fans think. So they have to react, and some players like Neymar, they'll have to avoid.
Where do you stand on Neymar?
Well, there was a survey on the radio network a couple of months ago, just before he got injured, about if the fans had to get rid of one of the the forward players, Neymar, Cavani, or Mbappe, who would they pick? Yeah. And Neymar finished the first, with 40% of the fans wanted him to leave in first. They want to keep Cavani because Cavani served the club, and that's been fantastic. Because Mbappe is just the future of the club, and is absolutely fantastic. So the fans of Paris Saint-Germain were ready to get rid of Neymar. Well, that was a tricky question, but it was the case. I think that guy has to learn how to behave in a way properly on the field. He got injured because he was teasing the player, and he got injured himself. He's a fantastic player. He was much better just before his injury in terms of behavior, and he was fighting for the club. He was not pretending to be injured and falling down like we saw him during the World Cup. He was going great, and he got injured because of one of his, let's say, stupidity. I say that, Brazilian fans, they weren't very happy, but I think Pelé, like a month after, said the same. So you have to evolve if you want to win something. And he has to evolve if he wants to see Paris Saint-Germain, him being the star of the club, win the Champions League.
I'm not surprised at that poll.
Sure.
And most of the fans wanted Neymar to leave because people are pretty fed up with the antics, aren't they?
Speaking of antics, plenty of them coming up on Extra Time today. Be sure to check it out on our YouTube channel. Let's take it to La Liga. Real Madrid taking on Athletic Bilbao. Karim Benzema has had a quietly pretty good season, and he would have. I know.
Don't tell Stevie.
This is Steve Nicol, who would always likes to have a go at the Frenchman, but he make it 1-0 here.
That's fantastic. He had a fantastic season, and he became the key guy, you know, in the front.
He's been the one positive, you could argue, from Real Madrid this campaign, as well as Vinicius Jr. 14 minutes to go, he'd make it 2-0 here.
No foul.
And then in the 90th minute, he would get his hat-trick. The goalkeeper kind of help out by lying down.
Still, simple little clip.
Nah, unlucky. He did the job, the goalkeeper.
Try to head it to his
Yeah.
defender.
So finishes Real Madrid 3, Athletic Bilbao 0. Karim Benzema taking the match ball home.
Do you know what that means, that result? Not a lot.
I'm guessing, no, not a lot. It keeps Real Madrid in the hunt for second, I suppose. That's the
And what
one thing
second?
to say.
No, third.
Well, no, because they can still catch Athletic
Oh,
Madrid,
yeah,
can't
okay.
they?
Is there a trophy for that?
I believe there is not a trophy for second. Welcome into extra time. Like a reunion for you boys.
Well,
How many seasons were you at Chelsea together?
Not too many. When did you arrive?
96. Beginning of 97. We only played like a year, I think.
You had a year together?
97, you left, no? After the FA Cup, you left?
Yeah.
Yeah.
A year we
So that was the
played-
FA Cup final, yeah.
Yeah.
That's when you went to Celtic afterwards.
Yeah.
What are you laughing at?
No, I'm laughing at-
let's preface this extra
That guy
time.
didn't want to play with me because he was doubling his wage.
Well, that was it.
That's
We went
why.
up to Celtic.
Yeah.
Frank took all the money. And Gianfranco and all them.
Now,
No
what-
money. There was no money left. By the way, let's preface this extra time by saying Frank wanted to see the questions because he said, I can't understand you.
that's
And
it.
I can understand Craig better.
Yeah, that's a complete lie.
No, it's not.
It's not, it's like 30 seconds ago.
So what was Craig Burley like back in the day? How old were you then, Craig? Before you moved
we
to
had a good
Celtic?
squad of players.
Yeah.
I mean, nice
Yeah.
camaraderie.
No, he was-
Like at the moment, like now he's kind of turned into an old grumpy man.
Yeah.
Like was he always grumpy and stubborn?
No, he was very young at the time and he was working hard, but his technique was sure. His passing was accurate. I love I love.
I
the
don't want to
play.
hear compliments about it.
No, it's true. I wanted him to stay. I was very disappointed when I saw him leaving because I think he was settled very well at the club and he was. For me, representing the future of the club.
And what was the culture of the club like with regards to an evening out? How did that compare to where you moved?
Well-
Because did you move from Marseille?
Yeah, but
Yeah, no, from Strasbourg.
From Strasbourg?
Yeah, but see, some of the boys that moved, they all lived kind of in near central London.
Right.
Yes. That was everybody was living outside of London.
Yes.
Yeah.
And when we all arrived, Roberto, Gianfranco,
Okay.
and Gianluca, we all wanted to live in London.
Right.
And we started to change some stuff in the dressing room as well.
What sort of stuff did you want to change?
We had a chef,
Right.
Italian chef who came. You know, we had a proper food, and
I don't think you don't.
Yeah.
I don't think you were too pleased
we
with the
stopped.
lunch.
We stopped drinking after playing golf.
Right, okay.
Yeah, that was hard for Craig and Marcus. But we went with them playing golf.
Well,
That
people
was-
don't understand about Mark Hewitt, and I've told you this.
Yeah.
Because he's really not as a manager, as a player, he's the most aggressive man. But he's not, is he?
No, he's the most fantastic person in the world.
Yeah. And you used to tell me stories about him in training. He was nothing special.
He was the worst player in training. You don't
See,
want
I
to pick
told
him.
the boys,
Yeah,
I said,
yeah.
listen, hey,
The worst player. I saw him missing. Not even a 5-year-old boy who never played football would miss the goal. He was missing, and he had the trust of the coach, I guess, to be picked on Saturday. And Saturday he was Marcus. Fantastic.
No, but I used to tell the boys, he used to, because we play these little 8-a-sides.
Right.
Most days, short and sharp, you know, nice fast tempo. And we usually play one and two touch.
Okay.
So we keep it moving. So, and every now and again, Mark would get the ball, and he'd like go running, take all these touches, and he'd put it in the net. And he'd be, yeah, and we'd be,
It's one
Sparky, Mark, we've been playing two touch. He said, have we?
No, but
But
fantastic.
fantastic. But then he goes on the field.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
He goes from this quiet guy who's horrible in training because he's useless in training to being this one of the best at holding the ball up, holding defenders off
Yeah.
in the game. It's an amazing turnaround. But he was a bad trainer. I don't mean like attitude,
Just
performance.
Just rubbish.
He got the yellow bib. The yellow bib. He got the yellow bib almost every day, which is for the worst trainer.
Yeah.
Okay, first question.
Oh, I'm reading.
Every year since Sir Alex Ferguson left, we keep hearing the team needs an overhaul. Tons of money has been spent in that time on players and different types of managers, yet we are saying again the team needs an overhaul. What is missing here?
Well, the quality of some players.
Yeah.
You know, I think Manchester United is a big club with a big history. We saw through all decades many fantastic players. I don't want to name players, but really defensively, it's been a nightmare for the past 10 years. And we saw it again against Everton.
Yeah.
I remember Gary Pallister and some others. I forgot the name of the coach who were playing alongside him.
Steve Bruce?
Steve Bruce.
Or Steve Bruce.
Steve Bruce. They weren't the best player ever, technically talking, but they were warriors.
Yeah.
And they let the other playing and leading the game, but they were there. They were the leaders of the defense. They were ready to die for Manchester United. It doesn't seem to be the same now.
They were super organised, knowledgeable professionals that got every. And then you had guys around them. But,
Yeah.
But you know, Chris Smalling's still there. Not good, not really good enough.
Jones.
Just got a new contract for Smalling, didn't he? Phil Jones just got a new
Phil Jones is still there. You had Luke Shaw, who's a really good young player at Southampton. He's had a broken leg, I know that. He's also had problems with Mourinho and injuries. So he could come good, but he does. Every time we see him, he looks a little overweight. And then the other side of the coin, you've had Antonio Valencia, who started out as a winger for most of his career, and Ashley Young, who was a winger, and they're playing fullback for one of the biggest clubs in the world. And that's just part of the issue. So personnel is not up to what they need to be.
The problem is
and then
now,
you had players like Fellaini, with all respect.
Yeah.
You know, he's off in China making.
Plus, Lukaku's not going to win you the Champions League, is he?
No.
And you've got Alexis Sanchez on 500,000. So if you're a player going to United, you're saying, well, I want the same money as this guy who's...
Well, that's the
Down the
problem
bench,
I had
Julian.
when I left Chelsea with LeBeuf and all that.
Yeah, and we won.
Just give me half what he's getting. No.
That's all right.
No. I want to live in Kensington. Whatever it is, someplace.
Benzema in form and has 21 league goals, whereas Dybala out of form has only 5 compared to 22 of last season. Is Ronaldo as a striker bad as a striker comrade? What? Is Ronaldo an issue, like for Dybala? Can he not play alongside him?
No, I don't see that. A completely different player. Dybala should be able to play his own game.
Yeah. Benzema had a good relationship with Ronaldo, didn't he?
No, but Benzema was smart enough to serve Ronaldo.
Yeah.
That's like Neymar signing for Barcelona and serving Messi, and that's how he got all the goals that he got. That he was serving Ronaldo to score goals, but he got something else, and the titles, and some other things. And now that Ronaldo is not there, as I said before, he became the leader of the attack. Dybala has to grow up mentally, psychologically, to become stronger. It's really, we can see too many upside down with him right now. He's a fantastic player, but he has to be more consistent, I think.
Could PSG win the league playing every match with 10 men?
Yeah, that would say that the League One is very bad. Yes. But yeah, well, they
It's
lost.
a bit disrespectful, is it not? It's a little bit disrespectful to the league.
It is, but because
Since when have you been so respectful of the league? Oh.
yeah, it's true.
No, I don't
because
mind
I'm
that.
here.
But
Don't have to.
you know, look, you know, Juventus are wiping the floor in Serie A.
No, that's true. I
What's
suppose
the
you could...
difference?
Yeah.
You know, so
It's even worse.
That's not even worse.
Juventus, they won 8 titles in.
No, I
straight.
understand that, but the points difference is...
Yeah. Well, they have 20 points difference.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know what the second as in France, in League One. But the thing is, they lost against Lyon away from home. They lost against Lille.
Yeah.
Well, even if they didn't have too much to play, but yeah, the quality of the players allows you to think that with 10 men they can win every game.
Right.
But I want to give a message to the other team.
Oh.
Stop respecting too much the Paris Saint-Germain players. Strasbourg did it. They struggled against Strasbourg. They wanted to get the title. They drew. And some other team, they did it. Nîmes tried to play and for them to be better.
How's your boys Marseille getting on? Where are they these days?
Yeah, you don't have another question?
How's Balotelli? Are you a fan?
Well, Balotelli is always doing great. The first 3-4 months, every club he signs, and then he disappears. So we don't want to make any statements. So far, he does well. But the thing is, we don't see some other players because Balotelli is there.
Right.
You know, because he takes all the lights and the other players are not big enough. It's a real problem. Marseille has even more problem than Manchester United in terms of selling some players who are completely useless and earns like €500,000 a month.
Right.
So it's going to be very, very hard during the summer for Marseille.
Final question. What is your favourite candy?
My favorite candy?
Yes.
I don't eat too much candy. I love chocolates in general. So
dark, milk, white.
I'm going to dark now because I was told that it's a better chocolate.
It's bitter though, isn't it?
I don't know. It depends the one you want, but that's a very good football question. Yeah, we have the dark chocolate now.
Dark chocolate?
Yeah.
Craig?
Did somebody tell you dark chocolate makes your hair grow?
Oh, I should have started.
When did it all go, Frank?
I was very young when he started to.
Yeah, I can't.
You know, in fact, I had in '93. I shaved my head completely.
Right.
My father sees me during a Strasbourg Saint-Etienne game, and he calls me the day after and says, "Are you sick?
Oh, yeah.
Are you ill?
Yeah.
Do you have a leukemia? Whatever it is." He said, "No, because I'm losing my hair, so I think it's better." He said, "No, you can't do that. I can't sleep at night when I see you." So I let it grow, not everywhere, and I signed for Chelsea. And
so your dad didn't want you to shave your head?
He don't want me to shave my hair. And Gianluca sees me, Vialli.
Yep.
And in November '96, or December '96, he said, "Come over." And I went to his room and he shaved me.
And it was all. Did you have like a horrible?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, you.
Did you? Was it Antonio Conte back in the day?
Oh no.
No, you had a little bit. No,
bit
it wasn't like that.
No, just the bay. How you say the bay? That was losing them.
Right. Okay.
But I felt that it was a question of maybe months.
That was it.
And before it becomes horrible, it was already horrible. And Gianluca said, "Okay, come." And he shaved my head. It was like 23 years ago.
So did people ever mistake you with Barthez? Because obviously, because the bald head.
I studied before Barthez.
Right.
And
a very awkward
we launched.
Why is it an awkward conversation?
Oh, really?
Yeah. We launched fashion.
It's like he doesn't mind, does he? He's defined by his bald head.
Yeah.
He's not like you. He doesn't care about it.
I don't care about it.
Come on.
I'm 47. He lost his hair in his early 20s.
Why are you having to go at him for such a personal issue?
Because he...
Come on.
It's to be your dad ringing you up and saying, "Are you ill? Are you ill? You look it. You look ill."
Oh dear. We'll be back tomorrow as well. Chelsea-Burnley tomorrow. Shaka's joining us as well.
He's got hair.
Shaka does. Horrible beard.
Do you know what was my song? He's got no hair, he don't care. Frank Leboeuf.
Yeah.
That was a song at Chelsea.
Oh, beautiful.
Sing it tomorrow.